Good evening. This is Debbie Davis. It is October 28th, uh, 2024. I had I had that incident this morning with this unmarked police officer. Okay, so I want to tell, kind of the story of what happened here. And then I also did research on unmarked police and different things like that I'm going to share. Uh, so uh, so what happened is that I've seen this guy a couple times, and I did research on unmarked police, and because I've never seen those type of police around here before. I was wondering, okay, is this somebody that's, targeting me specifically? You have to understand that, this has gone on for me since I was a whistleblower since 2013, and this is like, the times they keep pulling me over is now increasing. It was already at over 40 sometimes or whatever. And now, I got pulled over like last month or whatever for no reason. She let me go. And now today. So, they just prove every day. To me, the police prove every day that they can't be trusted with anything. Okay. All you're doing is proving how much you are not a public servant and that you're actually here to harm us instead of do any kind of public servant work. Okay, and believe me, I can prove it, and I do it all the time, and that's why that's why I'm a threat, I'm sure, but because I do expose them, and but there's a lot of things that have happened here, and I found more in Hennepin County that's happened. So it says that an unmarked police car that lacks markings that are generally used for sting operations or detective work. And so when he pulled me over, I said, "Are you? Why is it unmarked? Are you doing some kind of detective work?" And he wouldn't answer me. And he wouldn't give me his badge. I looked up who he was. He is a sheriff, and he does work for the sheriff office, but I've never seen an unmarked vehicle before around here, ever, really. Just until like the last couple of years, so I will take that as a yes, because he wouldn't answer me. I will take that as a yes, that he's doing undercover or sting work for the sheriff's office against targeted individuals, innocent targeted individuals, which would be myself. I'm a whistleblower. I'm not a criminal. And if you put me on this list illegally by the FBI, and I was never allowed any kind of court date to even defend myself, then that is most definitely an illegal operation, and you're involved in committing crimes against humanity. Okay, so we'll just go on here. So what happened is that I was just trying to drive to an appointment this morning, and there was a car that came by me speeding, and then all of a sudden this cop is behind me, and it seemed like he was trying to pull this car over. Or actually, it was a big truck. It was a truck, and it came by me speeding, and then and then he came to the left of me, and I thought his lights were on, and I thought he was going after the speeding truck. Okay, and then so I pulled over immediately. And just to the side of the road, and then I start recording him because I've never seen an unmarked vehicle around here, and he freaked me out. And then he says, "Oh, well, I was going to go after him, but instead, since you're recording me, I'm going to go after you." Well, I believe he was probably after me, to begin with, and that was just, a lie that he had to tell to try to, get by with the reason why he was illegally stalking me. Basically, this is police stalking, and I prove it. How many videos have I done about the police? I mean, I started looking at them today, and I've done at least like 10 videos exposing the police of their complete stalking of me. I can't even go for a walk with my dog without them stalking me. I mean, they drive by here all the time. I mean, it literally is a police stalking. Like, you prove every day that you are total psychopath stalkers stalking me. Okay, so and it's not gotten better. You just prove every day, and I found more, believe me, that I'm going to share today about the criminals that you are. So I got a ticket today for another, he said that I was illegally using my wireless. Okay, well, let's see. We'll go ahead and, this is the same game that I played last year with the Plymouth police, where they said I was on my electronic device at 5:30 in the morning, but yet they could never show me any footage in the discovery, and I requested it like 3 times. Nope. The Campbell-Knudsen prosecuting attorney never showed me the footage, so it's my word against the police in court. The same game all the Masons play. They're all Masons. Okay, I know the game. So, but I was already completely pulled over because I thought he was going after the car ahead of me that was speeding. And then until I actually started recording when I was actually completely pulled over. So I would really like to see that evidence that you have, Sheriff, of that I was illegally using my electronic device, because when you're pulled over completely at a stop, that's not illegal. So once again, we're going to have to request the footage, and then it's going to be this whole like dog and pony show where you're going to try to pretend like you have footage on me that you don't have. I'm very aware of your games that you play. So they that really, I mean, their unmarked police are, this one says that sometimes the unmarked police are used to help criminals in the middle of committing a crime in high crime areas. This is not a high crime area, and this is not like some area that where you should be involved in detective work. This is a really normal, nice community. Like, this is such a joke that, like, this is such a joke. Okay. Okay, so then I look even further, and then in the state of New York, the unmarked police were considered illegal because they were raising too many concerns, because there was incidences where these unmarked police were being used to abduct people. Okay. They were misusing their authority. Oh boy, not the police. Really? Misusing your authority? Of course not. Okay. I mean, you do it like every day, multiple times a day. Okay. Misuse your authority? Isn't that, I think you take the oath just to misuse your authority instead of use it. I think that's really what your oath is. These police officers that were unmarked got in trouble for actually being involved in abductions and kidnappings. Oh, so okay, so you realize that. So do you see the reason why I was upset or I was freaked out that this was an unmarked police officer? I've never seen that before. And then I look even further at. So then I look up and it says the laws per state of unmarked vehicle police car laws. Okay, and then it says in the state of Minnesota, so you can see this one, in the state of Minnesota, it says state police officers can make traffic stops in unmarked cars if authorized by the Commissioner of Public Safety. Okay, I'm sorry, what? Am I some kind of like massive criminal here where I have the Commissioner of Public Safety having me under some kind of detective work just because I was a whistleblower in 2012? It's been that many years now. Okay. 2011 is when I reported the crime, and then these people were arrested in 2012, and then it's just gone on from there. boy, fun and games. Unmarked patrol cars should have, and I don't know what this means, but it says state police officers can make traffic stops in unmarked cars if authorized by the Commissioner of Public Safety. Unmarked patrol cars still have to have Michigan State Police door decals. Probably probably they meant to say Minnesota State Police door decals. Only special non-traffic units can get away with these without the door decals. So okay, so that's there's a law in each state as far as what they have to follow to be an unmarked police, and he didn't have any kind of markings at all. Okay, and I said, well, I how do I even know you're a real cop? Like, I mean, you could just be dressed up in a uniform, but like, you don't have any markings at all on your vehicle. So how am I supposed to know you're even legitimate, or you're not, doing some kind of illegal operation here? But anyway, but I'm always nice with the police, and he, he wasn't like a total jerk or anything, but you have to understand, they come off nice. They come off like they are nice guys, but they are not. Okay, they are not. These are not nice guys. These are Masons involved in massive criminal activities. Okay, and they call themselves police, but they're not. They're involved in so many crimes. Okay, and then this one right here, it says in it says unmarked vehicles, drivers, sometimes unmarked vehicles were involved in traffic tickets in New York, but up to fairly recently in 2021, due to safety concerns, there was cases of these unmarked police abducting people, posing as police in unmarked cars, and making people justifiably afraid. Okay, so I found that on traffictickets.com. Okay, there was people involved in an unmarked police involved in abductions. Okay, so don't try to tell me that I'm supposed to feel safe with some kind of unmarked vehicle pulling me over, or coming by me. And I'm not a criminal. I'm a whistleblower, and I have a right. I was supposed to be protected under several federal laws as a whistleblower, and I haven't been. And you're completely 100% out of line, for continuing to harass me. So I'll just keep exposing you. But I mean, what I wanted to say is that, like, I don't know what these guys are told when they pull me over. Half of them act like they're just following orders, but and like this guy, he seemed like a nice enough guy, but gives me a ticket. Okay, I don't care, how nice you come across. A lot of these Masons, I'm sure they're all Masons, okay? But, and I have worked with the Masons, and I have been in the military with the Masons, and I didn't know they were Masons at the time, but now that I look back, I saw their rings and different things like that. But, they do come off like nice guys. They can come off like nice, normal people, soft-spoken, whatever, and but these are not nice guys. These are the Masons at the higher level are involved in the human trafficking and the child sacrifice. Okay, these are not nice guys. And we have to remember the history of Ted Bundy. He was a serial killer. He came off like a really nice guy. Okay, and that's how he committed a lot of his crimes, because he was totally unsuspecting, nice guy. Okay, same with Jeffrey Dahmer. He came off like the guy next door, like a nice guy. Lure people in, and then, these are serial killers. Okay, just because somebody comes off like they're not dangerous. You know, they don't come off like, that doesn't mean, you know, they'll turn around. These Masons, they take these oaths, and they're very serious oaths, and you know, and you can't trust them. They've come after me for years now, and you know, they'll be nice to your face, but the minute you turn around, they'll stab you in the back. I mean, you know, I found out more stuff about Hennepin County, deaths in the jails. You know, I mean, this is crazy. But this isn't just Hennepin County. This is like all around the country, you know. But I'm just finding stuff here all the time. I was targeted here in 2013 and 14 initially, and then I moved away to South Dakota but this happened to me in other states too, but it's always the Masons. It's always the Mason cops. So, you know, if you have Masons in your family, you know, this is, you know, these are very serious oaths that they take, and they are involved in satanic things. This is a satanic oath, you know. So, and the other thing that you need to know is that if your father or grandfather or mother, you know, the mothers can be involved too. If they've taken these oaths, is they can put curses on you, generation curses on you, and that can last like 4 generations down, or more, at least 4 generations down. It can cause curses in the bloodline. Like there's been stuff talked about, like suicides, and you know, really crazy accidents and different things like that in the bloodline because of the Masonic oaths that the grandfather or father did, or whatever, you know. And so in order to be free from that, you have to break the legal rights that has been used against you, you know, by your generations. And so that's what I learned just recently, is that you have to break the legal rights. So if you want to break free of the Masonic thing, then you have to break, if you really want to break free from it, you have to break the legal right that Satan has over you because of something that happened in your generations before you. You know, because some people are just born into it, and they don't, you know, and they do want to maybe break out, but anyway, but you know, I'm just exposing the people that are still involved in, you know, it's like an ego thing too. It feels like an ego thing too, because they always act like they act very offensive at some of the things I say about them because I'm a woman, and so I'm sure it's very much an ego thing. But this isn't like anything about, you know, you being a man or me being a woman. Like, you're completely out of line. Like, if this was a woman continuing to pull me over, I would say the same thing about her. But it's usually the men. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're completely out of line, whether you're a man or a woman. You pulled me over like over 45 times or whatever it is, and it's continuing to happen. And so, I mean, you're completely 100% out of line, and completely violating your oaths of office. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You know, I'm sorry if I'm offending your ego or your arrogance. You know that of your or embarrassing you, but this, you know, there's so much evidence here that there's so many crimes that have happened in this county that it's just completely, you know, out of line. It's completely like becoming just so obvious. I mean, you know, everybody is recording the police here. Now, I'm certainly not the only one that records them now. It pretty much ever since George Floyd was just openly murdered right on the street in Minneapolis, where, you know, the police, Derek Chauvin, you know, just decided to step on his neck for 8 minutes instead of, you know, get him in the ambulance and get him actually some care for the fentanyl overdose. You know, they have things for that now where they could have given him, but instead he steps on his neck for 8 minutes, where you pretty much just proven that you just openly will murder somebody right in front of the public. So, you know, you pretty much just exposed yourself that you're murderers instead of public servants. So pretty much ever since then, the entire public here doesn't trust you. You've proven that you will just openly murder somebody right in broad daylight. So, everybody is recording the police now. So it's certainly not me. I'm certainly not the only one. So maybe you should get it through your head that, you have everybody around you recording you. Everybody from their bedroom rooms, from their living rooms, from the, everybody's recording you. Nobody trusts anything about you. You are murderers pretending to be police. That's all you are. Okay. So I wanted to mention. So I have some other things I found. So there is several deaths that have happened right in the jails here. Okay. Mother sues Hennepin County Police.
So there are big in-your-face issues in this case.
Today, Hennepin County was hit with a multi-million-dollar wrongful
This was 3 years ago.
Lawsuit. It's for a loss of life profiled in our Care 11 investigation that's been exposing a pattern of bodies, inmates not properly watched, and falsified records at the Hennepin County Jail.
He was loved. I got this right after he was 1 years old. This is his name, Naj.
Tibetha Prosper's son, 24-year-old Naj Powell, hanged himself just hours after being booked into the Hennepin County Jail. This federal lawsuit claims jailers effectively placed him in a cell with a loaded gun.
They gave him the means and opportunity to hang himself. They might as well have given him a loaded gun.
Jeff Storms and Karen Nelson are attorneys representing Naj's family.
Every step of the way, somebody dropped the ball.
Naj battled mental illness and was a documented suicide risk. He was arrested by Hennepin Sheriff's deputies at HCMC's psych unit. His charge, failing to complete earlier treatment for mental illness. Jail video shows guards discussing hospital paperwork. State rules require more frequent observation for potentially suicidal or mentally ill inmates. Last month, Care 11 exposed how the obviously mentally ill and potentially suicidal man was not more frequently observed or placed on any suicide precautions.
We have a young man who walked into a jail and no one cared enough about him to keep him alive.
They
Jail
literally
nurses examined Naj, and on a suicide assessment,
They literally put a noose right in his jail cell, and like encouraging him to hang himself. I'm sorry, like, what kind of a jail system puts a noose right in the jail cell? They put a noose right in the jail cell. Here you go. Want to hang yourself?
Jails in Minnesota. Warning: state inspectors will be focusing more intensely on well-being checks and doing unannounced inspections to ensure inmates are receiving proper care. Sweeping legislation to better prevent jail deaths has also been introduced at the Capitol.
Was Najah Powell's death preventable?
Absolutely. It was 100% preventable. They gave him everything he needed to kill himself, as opposed to giving him the things he needed to live.
For Care 11 Investigates, I'm AJ Legault.
Hennepin County and Hennepin Healthcare issued a joint statement today saying, quote, "We are saddened by the death of Naj Powell. The allegations filed in..."
Oh, they always say this. Oh, we're so saddened. Oh, well, why didn't you prevent it to believe? See, these are liars. These are liars. They can play a good act. These guys play a good act, and they try to come off like nice guys. Oh well, it's illegal to use that electronic device while driving. Well, I wasn't using it while driving. I'm pulled over now, officer. I was pulled over, and then I started recording you as I thought you were driving by, but all of a sudden you stopped and you started coming after me instead. But I was completely pulled over. Oh boy, you come off like such a nice guy, but you're not. You are not nice guys. It's pretty clear.
So there are big in-your-face issues.
Yeah, I mean, deadly pattern, Hennepin jail. Deadly pattern. Okay, so in 2000 and in 2013, in 14 or whatever, I ended up in the jail there. for some of these minor. There was like it's always like didn't put your turn signal on, or like speeding over 12 miles over, or I mean, it was the most ridiculous things, but I ended up in jail there, and they stole my money and my anti-anxiety medication out of my purse. So when I got out of the jail, my money was gone, and my anxiety medication that I had gotten from the VA. These are a bunch of total criminals. Like, people have had money missing from this jail. I had money and prescribed medication missing when I got my purse back, and I was illegally pulled over to begin with. Okay, so I'm not played any games with these Hennepin County jail systems here. We're dealing with just total criminals here.
Downtown Minneapolis echoes with a haunting song. A grieving mother's lullaby for a son she can no longer hold.
My son is gone because of the miscarriage of justice.
Calling for justice, Tybatha Prosper knelt on a prayer rug across the street from Hennepin Healthcare on what should have been her son's 24th birthday.
Everybody involved needs to be held accountable for what happened to my son.
What happened to Najah Khan Powell? Najah Khan, Naj, whose family battled mental illness. After an incident at his group home, he requested to be taken to Hennepin Healthcare's psychiatry department, where he stayed 8 days. The hospital discharged him September 11, 2020, straight into the waiting handcuffs of the sheriff's department, arrested for this outstanding warrant. A warrant for a probation violation, failing to complete treatment and take medication for his mental illness.
They picked him up from a hospital and put him in jail.
They
How does that work? That does not
They
work.
picked him up from a hospital and put him in jail. Like, I'm a criminal for being mentally ill. Oh, that's a new one. Way to go, Hennepin County. You're really on top of it, DeWanda. She's the head. She's the chief of police here. DeWanda Harris or something.
Make the most difficult of decisions. This sheriff's department press release says he was found in his cell during routine inmate health and wellness checks. Claire Akbar Bey is Najah's aunt.
Do you know how closely he was watched when they took him there?
Apparently not. He wasn't watched at all.
State rules require each inmate be checked on at least once every 30 minutes and call for more frequent observation for inmates who are potentially suicidal, mentally ill, or experiencing withdrawal. But Carol Evans' investigation discovered Naj was not placed on a more frequent observation schedule. That's despite HCMC sending paperwork with deputies flagging him as a moderate suicide risk. You can hear the deputies discuss the paperwork. Records show the guards and even jail nurses consulted weren't sure what that meant. The nurses questioned Naj, and he denied being suicidal, even though it should have been clear he was mentally ill. Remember, he'd come directly from a hospital psych unit.
Yeah.
He was medically cleared and placed on the routine 30-minute watch, rather than more frequent observation.
He had already been in a crisis situation.
Carol Evans' investigation finds Najah's death is part of a pattern of bodies, inmates not properly watched, and even falsified records at the Hennepin County Jail.
Oh yeah, falsified. Oh yeah, that's your whole MO. You falsify records,
There was no doubt.
and then you're the
Janice
one who
Kellermeyer is another
you're the
mom
one who
lost
killed
her
the
son to
people,
suicide
but then you'll do a falsified
Janice and
record
Bob believe
to
their
get
son,
out of
Bobby Jr.,
your criminal
took his life
activity.
in 2017 because of the pain of untreated opioid withdrawal. They questioned how guards didn't notice what he was doing and stop him.
So the fact that no one noticed anything going on or heard anything, or it's somehow something isn't right.
No, it's not right.
They lied.
You are
She's
a
right.
liars.
The State
A bunch of
Department
liars.
Corrections review
A bunch of
Bobby's death
criminal
found a
liars
jail nurse
posing as
lied about speaking with
police,
Bobby through the glass
but
of his
really
cell
you're
prior to
murderers.
his death. Video
I'm gonna
showed
call you like you
no
are, murderers.
conversation took place. The DOC also found the majority of health and welfare checks observed were not completed appropriately.
Is it fair to say that these well-being checks are critically important?
They are critically important.
Margot Fraser is a law enforcement and corrections expert who consults for the U.S. Department of Justice. She says well-being checks are one of the most important safeguards to prevent inmate harm.
Literally can result in the difference between life and death.
At the Hennepin jail, the deadly pattern of improper welfare checks is clear. Here's two more examples. August 2018, Miguel Garcia was found hanging in his cell. DOC found missed and late checks, and even worse, falsified records. Jailers documented doing checks that video showed never actually happened.
Oh
A
boy.
month later, Tristan Keys died
More
by
proof
suicide.
that you're the liars
DOC
and criminals.
Again found
You
missed and
are
late
the
checks
liars and the
more
criminals.
falsified records. Documentation of health and welfare checks, supervisor rounds, and roll call, which were not observed on video. CARE's investigation discovered at least 10 in-custody deaths tied to Hennepin County since 2015. In 6 of those, the state noted well-being check violations. In 2 other deaths, CARE 11 discovered there's no record the state even did the legally mandated investigation.
Something isn't right.
When Tybetha's son Naj died, the state found a safety check violation, but decided it did not play a role in his death. 2 weeks later, DOC did a biennial inspection and sanctioned the Hennepin jail, citing the continuing problem of well-being checks being out of compliance, and required them to come up with a written plan to finally fix the failures. Hennepin County Sheriff David Hutchinson was in office for some, but not all, of the deaths we cite. For months, he's refused CARE 11's interview requests. Instead, a PR person sent a lengthy statement about reform measures being implemented to ensure proper well-being checks are actually done. For Naj's family, the hope is they prevent another family from marking a birthday this way.
You are protected.
Okay, all right. So pretty much. So if I end up in jail in Hennepin County, I most definitely would probably end up dead. So I'm just gonna warn you right now that if I end up there somehow arrested, I probably wouldn't make it through the night. They have a history here of killing people in jail. Excuse me, I have a cold. So that's even more reason why I would get freaked out being pulled over here, because they have a history of killing people right in jail. Okay. Here's a noose. Here's a noose right in your jail. Isn't that that's just so convenient. They gave him a noose. He literally hung himself, and because they put a noose in his jail cell. Okay, I'm just telling you, these people are psychopaths. Okay, total psychopaths here, and that one guy who killed that guy in Savage, Minnesota, was let off with no charges at all. This goes on. That one. Hold on one second. It wasn't, okay. Okay, so, one second here. It was, this guy, they dropped the murder charges of this one, this Ryan, Officer Ryan, when he murdered a guy, on a traffic stop in, I think it was Savage, Minnesota, okay, and they dropped the charges on that officer, okay, charges on Officer Ryan, Londegren, yeah. Right here. Okay, Ricky, okay. So this just happened
Case against a Minnesota State
4
trooper.
months
The
ago.
Hennepin County attorney is dropping the charges against Trooper Ryan Lonergan.
He
was
murdered
charged with
he
shooting and
murdered
killing
this guy.
Ricky Cobb II during a traffic stop.
He murdered this guy named Ricky Cobb on a traffic stop in Savage, Minnesota, which is just about like 20 minutes from here. Where, you know, they show the footage, but once again, they won't release the full footage. And they did this to me in this last dumb court case where they won't show me the footage where I was actually on. They said I was on the phone, you know, on a wireless charge, where they said I was on the phone at 5:30 in the morning. They won't release the footage, and the same thing happened here, where they won't release the full footage of what happened in that traffic stop with this Ricky Cobb. Okay, they won't release the full footage. They release like where he got pulled over, and he asked to talk to an attorney. I don't know if he had a warrant or what, but he could tell. Everybody is afraid of the police here. So I think he tried to take off, and then they started shooting at him. Well, he probably sensed that this police officer was dangerous. You know, I sense, that's why I start recording right away, because these are really dangerous police officers here that are really criminals posing as police officers. And so if he should have started just recording right away and said, I'm recording you because I don't trust you, and I'm going to send this to my attorney because I feel that you are wrongfully pulling me over, and I have a right to defend myself. I don't know, this is why you have to know some legal terms and things like that, because you could die right at a traffic stop now very easily here in Hennepin County. Like, it happens like all the time. Or you could die, if you don't die at the traffic stop, you could die going to jail. You know, it's like a very common occurrence now here in Hennepin County. You'll die either at a traffic stop or in the jail. So, be very aware of what's going on here. So you probably shouldn't end up in jail here. I think all these people just need to be arrested. I personally think that the military just needs to come in and take over Hennepin County sheriffs and the police, because they just cannot be trusted at all. They just can't. They prove it every day. Okay, let's just cut the crap. Just cut the crap already. Are we done with this crap? I mean, this is ridiculous. You are criminals.
Fox 9's Paul Bloom has been following this case from the very beginning. He joins us now. Paul, I feel like this comes somewhat out of the blue on a Sunday night. I want your take on that.
Well, Randy, Amy, Sunday night, on the heels of a tragic event for local law enforcement in Minneapolis, and just weeks after hiring a high-priced, high-powered national legal team to prosecute this case, the timing here, many telling me tonight, head-scratching. Mary Moriarty had long pointed to the trooper's supposed training violations and pursuing this murder case against him. But a new declaration from Ryan Lonergan's own State Patrol trainer about getting suspects out of a running car and when they can actually shoot at a moving vehicle has apparently now torpedoed that case.
They are not allowed to shoot at a car which is driving away. They're not allowed to shoot someone to prevent the car from driving away.
Less than 5 months after filing murder, assault, and manslaughter charges against Minnesota State Trooper Ryan Lonergan, Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty with the stunning announcement. Her office is dropping the controversial case immediately. The prosecution of Lonergan generated intense reactions on both sides of the blue line.
We need justice. That's not right. This is not okay for our community.
Well, no, I believe this Mary Moriarty was forced to drop the charge. I believe she was forced by Tim Walz and the Attorney General to drop the charge, because she was originally not going to drop the charge. Okay? And then she changed her mind and basically dropped the charge. But she originally was not going to. Okay? This is a very high-profile case. You can clearly see that he was just like openly murdered by this cop at a minor traffic stop. Okay? There's really like I did videos about this before. I mean, how about like 8 other people that have been murdered here in Minnesota by the police. And so I'll remind you of this.
Squad and body camera footage from the deadly I-94 traffic stop encounter between Ricky Cobb II and troopers last summer captures Longigan firing his service weapon after Cobb refused commands to step out of the vehicle and he attempted to drive off. Longigan's legal team and supporters argued he had no choice to protect himself and his partner from death or great bodily harm, with a second trooper inside the vehicle's driver's door. In a Sunday evening statement announcing the dropping of charges, Moriarty's office writes the emergence of, quote, new evidence from the defense over the last several weeks makes it, quote, impossible to convict the trooper for his use of deadly force. Singling out, among other issues, Longigan's claim that he saw Cobb reach for the trooper's firearm shortly before shooting the 33-year-old. And no surprise here, reaction to the county attorney's about face has come in swiftly from all corners. I want to share this text I received from Trooper Longigan's lead attorney, Chris Natto, moments after the announcement. Quote, "It is about bleeping time. We are scheduled to hear directly from Mary Moriarty tomorrow morning. Her office playing an 8:30 a.m. news conference at the courthouse. We will be there and have all of the day's developments online and on air across all of our Fox 9 platforms. We're live in news for you tonight. Paul DeBlue, Fox 9.
Okay, well, so that was another one where that was just 4 months ago, and this guy had just gotten pulled over for a minor traffic violation. I think it was in Savage, Minnesota, and he just requested to talk to his attorney. He said, I have the right to, he basically upheld his Fifth Amendment right. He said, I don't have to speak to you. I don't have to speak to you. And that has happened to me before. That happened to me in Texas when this dumb police officer in Texas pulled me over, and where they say that I still have some kind of warrant. I'll tell you what happened there. I had moved out of the trailer park there. I had moved out, and while I was moving out, I got my stuff stolen. So, and the police didn't do anything about that. They didn't arrest the guy that went in and stole my stuff. And I got assaulted by a loaded weapon when I went to go confront the trailer park office, and I said, I just got a bunch of my stuff missing. As I was moving out, then I got confronted by a loaded weapon. Oh boy, yeah, I'm sure that's totally legal, right? And then, I was totally moved out. I wasn't given any kind of notice that I was not allowed to go back to that property. I didn't go back to the property, and I wasn't given any kind of, and I didn't get a notice to actually for eviction. I moved out on my own, but a few days later, I just went to go check the mailbox, the P.O. box, which was outside of the property on the street. Okay, and then this guy, the guy that put the weapon in my face, calls his local cops in Texas and has me pulled over as I'm just at a dollar store across the street. And he said, you're not, were you on that property? Because you're not supposed to be on that property again. And I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I was going to check my mail. I don't even know what you're talking about, officer. And I plead the fifth because I really don't have to talk to you. Like, I'm trying to go into a store here, and I don't have to talk to you. I mean, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I've completely moved out of there. I wasn't on the property. I was checking my mail. And so I took off, and I said, I plead the fifth. I don't have to talk to you. Like, it's your Fifth Amendment right. If I'm not under a warrant, if you don't have a warrant to actually arrest me or anything, you have to just let me go. It's just like, okay, I don't have to talk to you, and I'm trying to like do some errands around here. Is there like one day in my life that I can't be harassed by the police? Because it's literally gone on for 13 years in my life, and it's literally like almost every day, like every other day. Okay, so I mean, this has gone on for me for that long, and it's that extreme. Okay, so I was, it's that extreme. So I said, I plead the fifth. I really don't have to talk to you. I really don't have to say anything more to you. If you don't have a warrant, I really don't know why you're even stopping to talk to me right now. I was just checking my mail. And so this guy in Catula, Texas, he starts following me. I said, I don't have to talk to you, and I'm leaving right now. I was coming to the store to do an errand, and I'm leaving now. I don't have to say anything more to you. So then he continues to follow me for no reason, and he literally shoots my tire out. I mean, what did this lady just say? You're not allowed to follow somebody and shoot at them when they are driving away, especially if you don't have a warrant or anything like that. There was no warrant against this guy, Ricky Cobb, that I know of. It was a minor traffic violation. I don't think there was a warrant for his arrest or anything. Same thing with me. There was no warrant. I was going to check my mail on a federal P.O. box. But they continued to follow me illegally without a warrant, and they shot out my tires in Texas. Okay, we are dealing with very extreme criminal cops that are completely like, they think there is no law. They think they're above the law. Okay, but she was originally going to drop the charges, is my understanding. Is that but she, I guess, got threatened or somehow coerced into dropping the charges. But she originally was not going to. She's sees the evidence in front of her, like this is obvious murder, so anyway, we've had a lot of incidences here, and I did a whole video about that a while back, of all the people that have been murdered here, and like literally like no none of them have done jail time. Like, I mean, they just get away with murder, like, all the time. I mean, okay, so, the videos that I've done, play just like, I'm just gonna end this with just like a snippet of this video that I did of all the people that have been murdered here, like literally, like, okay,
Okay, good.
So.
Apparently a warrant, Okay, but you have to understand, like, okay, and it's just hard to, it's hard for me as a targeted individual to have any kind of employment, I'm on, okay, but you have to understand, like, that's the whole reason why I did some of these videos, couple of these videos of how corrupt the courts are. Okay.
So this was the video that I did 4 months ago.
For a minor brake light issue, and then they added a fake charge saying I was on my phone at the same time. I was not on my phone. Okay, it was 5:45 in the morning. Do you think who am I going to be talking to on the way? At 5:45 in the morning. You think I'm going to have some kind of massive chat with somebody at 5:45 in the morning? It's like, what a joke, And so they added this charge. It's a fake charge, okay, and then they dropped the brake light charge, but they would not drop this.
No, they didn't. They didn't end up dropping the brake light charge. They didn't end up dropping any charges. I thought they had dropped the brake light charge, but they didn't.
And then
they don't drop anything here, even though you have evidence that you're totally innocent. They won't drop anything here in Hennepin
County. The courts are so corrupt here that they don't even let you know about a court date or if there's a warrant or anything about some outstanding issue that you might still have, because they say, "Oh, we didn't have your current address." And I said, I'll call them and I'll say, "Well, you know what? I haven't moved in like 3 years, so why wouldn't you have my new address? You drive by my house like every day." The Hennepin County
they literally are stalking me every day. It's not a joke. Like, I mean, there's evidence.
Single day.
People see it.
I videotape them, and
and I take pictures of them. So, certainly you know where I live. So, there is no reason why you should not have my address. Oh, we didn't have your address. So, we didn't, so we couldn't send you any new court document of your new court thing about this wireless charge, so you have a warrant now. Okay, so this is how easy it can happen that you can get a warrant in this county. Okay, because they just make up shit. They just make up shit. And they say, we don't have your current address, or we don't have your current phone number, we don't have your, to text you, or whatever, okay? But I haven't moved, and I have not, and if they need to ask for my updated information, they can just call me. They have my number on file. My number hasn't changed in 20 years. So you got my phone number too, so you can call me.
Or like over 10 years at least.
651-767-2892. Certainly you can call me. Okay, but they don't. Okay? So this is why, so they say they pulled this guy over, this Dante Wright, for a warrant, supposed warrant.
Dante Wright ended up dead here.
And they said that he, the police officer was a female, and her name was Kimberly Potter, and she said she pulled him over, and she said that he tried to flee, and that she said she pulled out her gun instead of her taser, and she shot him in the chest, and he died. Okay, so this was just like a minor warrant, probably like a minor traffic violation, like something I would have had. I've had multiple, so
there was so on this video here that it says touching on more police issues. This was a video that I did 4 months ago. I talk about at least I think 7 cases of other murders that have happened here in Hennepin County. So you can look on this particular video about other people that have been murdered in Hennepin County, and not a single, this one police officer, Kim Powder, she might have done a year in prison, maybe. We don't really know. For killing Dante Wright, we don't really know. Where she said she pulled out her taser instead of her gun. Her gun instead of her taser. But there was multiple other ones. It was Amir Locke, and these are murderers pretending to be police officers. Okay, so we have every right to be concerned here. We have every right to be afraid of the police. We have every right to be afraid of the Hennepin County jails. And I feel that we need some kind of outside intervention here, because this is just completely out of control. Like what happened to me yesterday was just more proof of stuff that's been happening for years here. And it's just completely 100% out of line. There's no way I will ever trust the police ever again. It's just completely, they've completely lost all my trust. There's no way you can ever get it back. It's just completely gone. You did that to yourself. Nobody did it to you. You did it to yourself. So you have to face, these type of facts that you have violated all of our trust, all of your oaths, and all of your, all your oaths, all of the trust, and, the trust of the community. So you did that only to yourself. So the only people you have to blame is yourselves. That you just completely decided to violate your oaths that you took, and do these. And you're more worried about your Masonic oaths than you are any kind of public office. It has become completely clear. And so there's no way that I am ever going to trust you ever again, and there's no way that anybody should trust you, okay? And then the other thing that came out today is that supposedly they were saying that the SpaceX commanders are saying that some kind of we might have to worry about some kind of EMP weapon. Okay, I personally don't trust these SpaceX commanders, and I know that Benjamin Fulford has talked about these guys too. He said they call themselves Secret Space Force. I think they're located out of Colorado Springs, the Mount Cheyenne area. I think there are EMP weapons there. They try to say that, you know, just apparently today there was some kind of thing that came out saying these commanders are trying to say, oh well, you know, you better watch out. There might be an EMP weapon. Or I'm sorry, but what is that, a threat? Is that some kind of threat from some commanders that actually work there? Like, are you going to set them off then? Or is pretty much, is that what you're saying? Is that you're going to set off your own EMP weapons? Because that's what it sounded like to me. You know, I'm just the one that just calls the bullshit, basically. You know, I just call it like it is. Because I guess nobody else is, you know. But when I heard that, I was like, I've never trusted these Space Force. I mean, I know Trump originally started the Space Force because we do have a real threat in space with our satellites and everything like that, and there is a real threat in space, okay, and also because the Air Force is so corrupt that he needed an alternative to the Air Force, and because the Air Force is extremely corrupt. Okay, so that was one reason, and there is a real galactic threat, and so, but there is the deep state that has infiltrated the SpaceX command out of Colorado Springs. These are deep state people, and I believe they are very dangerous. I believe they are trying to pose as commanders, and I believe that they're actually deep state. So, you know, that is what has come out today is, you know, you got these commanders saying, oh, well, you know, we better watch out because there might be an EMP attack. Okay, well, what is that about? Like, are you going to expand on this? You know, like, I mean, so does that mean you're gonna set off an EMP because we're fighting against your deep state agenda? Is that what you're saying? Because that's how it came across to me, you know. So I'm sorry, but I'm just telling it like it is. And so you know, today was just ridiculous, and you know, this is another charge that I have to either pay or try to fight in these corrupt courts, which are no good, and you know, we'll just lie, and it'll just be like some kind of joke court date. And I've had this happen to me so many times, and that it's literally like, I mean, I'm so used to this now, being pulled over in this whole agenda, that I mean, I could write a whole book about it. Okay, about their constant games and their constant violations of the law. So, you know, this is, you know, I guess I'm an expert at this point in all this stuff. So I just am trying to warn other people. All right.